3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, my name is Cadet Noah Kim from Company E4. I'm from Cresco, New Jersey. I'm an Economics International Affairs major, and I branched armor.
Hi, all. I'm Cadet Seth Bolton. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. At West Point, I'm an international history major, and I branched armor.
We want to welcome you to Sandhurst 2022. Right now, we're currently at the burden lane. Seth, you want to walk us through what the burden lane is?
Yeah, so the burden lane is a pretty tough event. So first, the teams start off with pull-ups and push-ups. They have to complete a certain amount of repetitions for the team. And then after that, as you can see behind us going on a little bit, they have to do tire flips. They have to carry ammo boxes, a litter, and some water jugs. And then after that, the teams will be inserted certain challenges that they have to face, such as casualties that go on during the event. And they have to deal with that while also still completing the challenge. Noah, do you want to introduce the teams?
Yeah, so the 4 teams we have competing right behind us are from Mexico, Company C3, St. John's University, and D2. I think a really interesting aspect of the Sandhurst competition is we're bringing a bunch of international teams from all over the world and a bunch of ROTC units from across the country. So right now we see a great example of how each of these 4 teams are competing against each other, but also learning exactly what it takes to compete with each other and combat with each other.
And one thing that's really interesting, I'd like to highlight Company C3. They have a couple of notable people that are on there. First, we have Alex Denha, who is the Reg Commander. And if you guys are unaware of what a regiment is, so the Corps of Cadets is organized in a brigade and has 4 regiments. So Alex Denha is leading one of those regiments. Also, we have Cadet Ian Morris. So Ian Morris is a great example of soldier scholarship. And that's something that we really pride on at West Point. Next year, he'll be studying at, I believe, Stanford to get his master's degree. And so, I think you made a great point earlier about having different teams here, right? And that really shows the interconnectability of the Army, right? And then also the interoperability between the United States Army, but then also our foreign allies, right? So we have Mexico out here. Mexico did really well in the first drafting event to get the order of march for today. Noah, do you see anything out here that's particularly interesting to you?
I think what's really interesting is right now they're competing against each other. The 4 teams right now are competing against each other. But in the future, after we graduate and all this kind of stuff, we're going to be competing on the same team that we're working together. We're going to be working with the ROTC counterparts in the Army. We're going to be working with our allies and partners in the operational unit. Right now, we're operating as a joint force, or we're competing right now, but in the future, we'll be operating as a joint force.
And I really like that point that you had right there because, well, one, this lane is called the burden, right? And the burden is shared equally amongst all of us. And through the burden, I've heard this is a very hard event. So far, this is the 3rd iteration of teams that are going through today. And I think it really owns up to its name, right?
Look at the burden of carrying and flipping a tire across the entire field. I can't even imagine doing that myself, but imagine these guys have been competing since way early in the morning. They woke up way early and started doing this from 6 in the morning. That's crazy to me.
And no, those tires aren't light, right? Okay, so those tires, I'm pretty sure they can be lifted on LMTVs, which are large moving transport vehicles, right? And so, I think those things weigh upward of 100, 200 pounds, right? So that in combination with the fatigue, right? I had a friend tell me this morning that he had an Australian cadet with him, right? And the Australian cadet woke up at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. to get ready, Noah.
And they're out here right now in the morning, flipping tires, carrying water jugs that can weigh up to 45, 50 pounds, and they're carrying ammo crates. To me, that's insane. And the fact that they're doing this all and also taking casualties. So throughout the entire time, they're not going to have their entire team to carry the burden. What's going to end up happening is that over the course, the lane walkers are going up to specific teams and giving each one of them a couple casualties throughout the event. So with that, they're going to have to both carry their casualty on the litter, take care of them, while also continually carrying the burden of the team.
Yeah, and folks at home, they're not just wearing, denim jeans or anything like that, right? So going through the uniform of what they're wearing, right? So they're wearing a helmet, ACH, right? That I think that weighs upward of 6 pounds, right? They have a flick on them, so that's what we carry our combat load with. And then they have the traditional OCP uniform that soldiers traditionally wear. So it really adds up, folks, right? Like all these things that they're doing. And on our way down here, the teams were running. They were running to this event, right? So they're not walking necessarily in between each event. They're carrying heavy rucks. They're carrying their weapons, M4s, and then they're coming here maybe 10 minutes time in between arrival for starting the event, right? I mean, it's just
I mean,
crazy.
the standard load that they're carrying is almost 90 pounds on their body as they're flipping tires, as they're carrying ammo crates. And I think that needs to be pointed out. That is like the event is called the burden for a reason. It is a burden. But luckily what this event is kind of demonstrate is that they have to learn how to share the burden equally. One of the things that they're doing right now is the log press. Now, the log press is especially difficult because different members of the team are different heights. So they're going to be pressing the log above their heads while they're also have to deal with the fact that there's some members that are 5'5", while some members are 6'5". And they're going to have to learn how to share the burden equally so that one member of the team is not carrying all that load. I think what's important to know is it takes a lot of strategy in how they're going to line up their people so that not like one person who's 6'5" is trying to lift the entire thing on its own. And that log is not light at all. I remember last year I was tagged to help run one of these events, and we had to carry the logs ourselves. And this was like 15, 20 of us carrying one log while they're only moving around with teams of nine people. And they've already taken some casualties along the way, and they're going to have to press that above their heads. And that's insane.
I mean, and going off of what you said about like the different heights of people, right? So, I mean, this is a team event. And just to give you guys back at home a little history on what Sandhurst is. So, I mean, it was started in 1967 and is named after the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst in the United Kingdom, right? But interestingly enough, it was an all West Point internal event until 1975 when they started to allow international teams.
And from until 1975, it really wasn't a true military competition.
Yeah.
It was more of just a competition amongst companies. All right, we have some action right behind us going on right now. And see, they're carrying wooden pallets, ammo crates.
Look at that litter right there, Noah. So folks, that's what we were talking about right there, right? The casualties that the teams have to sustain during the event. And to talk about these skills and what they're actually doing, right? So these are things that we will do in the operational army, right? These are not just weekend events that we do, right? So everything that they're doing right now is purposed and is tactfully chosen to replicate combat and the fight that we are the fight that the Army is fighting.
So what you're getting the shot right now is a tire flip. And we talked about this before. You see how many people it's taking to just lift this thing. I mean, look how heavy it is. And they're also doing it at the same time. They can't use everyone on the team. They just left members behind that that took casualties that were laying on the litters. So they're trying to cycle in between. And it's also a strategy right now. How many people do you want burning, lifting the tires and moving? Yeah. How much energy do you want to burn doing this right now in preparation for future events? Yeah. This competition is 2 days long. The entirety of today and most of tomorrow is they're going to be competing in grueling physical events, and they have to be burning so much energy this early on in the competition. To me, that's insane.
Yeah. I mean, I think that point that you said earlier, that's really important of like, it's a strategy. Right. So it's a strategy and it's shared equally among all members. Right. So it's not just all male soldiers out here. So this is a co-gender sport. Right. I mean, within that, so each team is required to have at least one female participating. And that goes with all international teams and everything. And so each team has a squad leader, and the squad leader is charged with preparing their team for the events that they're doing. And so going off of what you said about managing fatigue, the squad leader knows the strengths and weaknesses of their team, and they are managing that, and they're coordinating it right here. So, I mean, as we can see, the team's working together right now. We have people swapping in and off of the tire and the different events.
The team you're looking at right now is St. John's University. This is one of the great examples of ROTC teams preparing all year for this competition. And look at that. They just finished out the tire flip, and they have to reassemble the equipment in the exact placement that it was before the test started. I think that also shows that they have to learn how to be disciplined even when fatigued. They have to understand how to lay out equipment properly. And look at them. They just finished. Congratulations to St. John's University for getting this finished.
They're from Minnesota as well, right? So, folks, I think that goes to show the standard of the Army, right? So the ROTC teams can compete on the same level as West Point, and then also our foreign international partners. So that's exciting to see.
And we want to thank you so much for being with us at the Burden. And we'll be taking you through the events of today at select different individual lanes. We won't be exactly going through every single one, but we will be going through select lanes. The next one will meet you at 10 o'clock at the Zodiac lane. And that's one of my favorites. See you later. And this is Sandhurst 2022.
Stay tuned.